Merry Christmas. I'm Jody Pritzel, author of Vintage American-Made Glass Christmas Ornaments and Immigrants, Ornaments, and Legacies, a story of American-made glass Christmas ornaments. Thanks for buying my books from Amazon.com, subscribing to my YouTube channel, and visiting booksbyjody.com. Thank you also, if anyone in your family served during World War II, thank you for their service. And for all military veterans, thank you for your service. If I believe in anything, it's the power of Christmas to do good, to be good, to triumph over sadness in times of war. Christmas ornaments tell a story of time periods in the 1960s. They were bright, colorful in the 1940s. Christmas ornaments at times were plain and subdued. If you've watched any of my earlier videos, you know there was one thing that I've always wanted, and that is this box. It is a rare war stamp box from the period of World War II. Now, I wanted this box. I yearned for this box, and I bought this box. I won't tell you how much I paid for this box, but it was at least a week's worth of groceries, possibly 2 weeks worth of groceries. But I bought the box and the 18 ornaments that are going to help us date this box to understand what year was it produced and how old is it. You have to go back in time to those historical clues that can help us nail down this rare war stamp box. Just after Pearl Harbor in 1942, things got really scarce and really scary. This booklet was distributed with instructions on what to do in terms of an air raid. And inside, it said if you don't have a flashlight, don't go out and buy one because it might be needed for other things. The first war ration book was issued in 1942. A second, and then 2 were issued in 1943. The first commodity to be in short supply was sugar, followed by canned goods, meat, dairy. In 1943, the cute war stamps that had a little piece of grain on them changed. There were tanks and airplanes. The first messaging of the war said, "For defense, save this empty box." By the time of 1943, things got into different messaging. If you look at this Pennsylvania Railroad timetable, it talks about war bonds and victory, and that's what changed by 1943. This is copyrighted to 1943, so the campaign changed from for defense. Remember, my box says for victory, not for defense. So for victory came about in 1943, matchbook came about in 1943, and the ration book came about in 1943. Now, remember the stamps started in 42, so we could have this box could be 1941 to 1943, but it's actually the ornaments inside of it that are going to give us more clues. I actually feel bad about having the box because if you think about it, I shouldn't have this box. It should have been saved along with pots and pans and rags and everything else that went into those scrap drives. But I've got it and I'm not giving it back. The 18 ornaments inside, I like to think of them as almost Noah's Ark, 2 by 2. So let's take a look at what is in here and see if we really do have something definitive to go on in terms of really narrowing down that year of the war stamp box. These first 2 ornaments, Courtney made those rounds in 1939. Yes, I know I'm missing a cap. Believe it or not, I've got some spares. Striped, rounds, small. Yes, made in US of A cap. I think these definitely came in my war stamp box. As do these 2. I think these definitely were also in this box. Gold, blue, proper colors. I think that's a match to the war stamp box. If you remember, silvering solution became scarce. These two transparent bells, I believe, were in the war stamp box. If you flip them on its side, though, Otto Kohler invented the mechanism to stripe in 1940. This one in particular, it's a little wobbly. Is wobbly a word? I'm going to use it. It's not uniform. And so I think these two definitely could be from, oh gosh, I think easily 1942. Two beautiful oblongs are in this box. I think they're spectacular. And again, the striping's not all that good. A little shaky. So I think that definitely belong in this box. Tinsel was used after there was no silvering solution, so I think these two definitely belong in the war stamp box. It's the next two that really helped me narrow down the year of the war stamp box that I own. It's these two. In my research, opaque paint came about in 1943. So these ornaments, I believe, are from 1943. Now, that still could mean that the box was post-war. I don't think so. Alongside the other ornaments in this box, there's 6 that might or might not belong here. This bell is not the same as this bell. Watch Bells, Bells, Bells video. Learn more about bells. This one, I think, might have had a mate. It's a tinsel. I think somebody broke the other one of this. I think it actually belongs in the war stamp box. This one, too. 3 stripe came after 2 stripes, so it could be there. I'm not feeling good about this one. It could be, could not be. This one definitely is not. This walnut that I've got, yeah, it's got the wrong end. It's not even a Corning produced in Wellsboro. No, and if you try, you can't really even get it back together. So, nope. And this one from West Germany. I don't think that belongs in the war stamp box. It's certainly not a shiny Brite. So out of the 18 I have here in the war stamp box, I've got rounds from 39, stripes from 40. I've got no silvering solution from 42 in the tinsel, but I've got those opaques from 1943. And that tells me, I believe, that this box that says, for victory, remember, that was after For Defense. For victory, save and sell this empty carton. I believe that this box is from 1943, making it 80 years old. And I should feel bad that I have it, that it wasn't recycled, but I'm not giving it back. After the war, people still continued to save things. The Boy Scouts still went door to door, picking up strap rubber, discarded balls, newspapers, you name it. Industrial production was just bouncing back, and so a lot of materials were still needed. By the way, gift wrapping paper during the war was used, the pulp was used for munitions, and that's why it was so critical. Ornament makers weren't without their sacrifice during World War II. Max Eckhart's son Harold was a pilot, and he received the Army Air Service Medal for circling around his leader's downed plane until it could be located. Harold named his plane after his father Max, and he limped back to the base, leaking oil and fuel, but he made it back. And he went on to join his father in the Shiny Brite firm. The ornament makers in Wellsboro introduced new shapes, Corning, and then the decorators, George Franke and Shiny Brites, came about with more stencils, trying to lift up America after those bleak years of the war. I can't believe my box survived for 80 years. Many legacies continue. I have to share that my grandma Julia, who survived World War II, the times of World War II, and inspired my love of history by telling me those stories of sacrifice, she would wrap our Christmas presents sometimes in the comics section of newspapers rather than using store-bought gift wrap. The Boy Scouts still would have loved Grandma Jody picking up all those newspapers and things that she saved for years. Thanks for watching my video. I leave you today with this clipping and the sentiment from 1944 and say Merry Christmas.